Hello and welcome to our continuing mini-webinar series, Healing from Cancer. It's not about the fight. These may be viewed as often as you like and in any order, and you may use the F11 key to switch between regular and full-screen viewing modes throughout the presentation. My name is Dr. Charlie Schwengel, osteopathic medical doctor and homeopathic physician. All webinars are sponsored by the Hope for Cancer Foundation, a nonprofit educational corporation. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to serve as or to replace medical advice for any health condition. For advice regarding the diagnosis or treatment of any medical condition, you should consult a qualified health practitioner. Through these mini webinars, Hope for Cancer Foundation offers a very different way of looking at and interpreting cancer, often with some very thought-provoking concepts. Let us begin. This is mini webinar number 4, Biologic Conflict Types. Biologic conflict has been introduced in prior webinars. Biologic conflict has several types that have been very carefully and scientifically described by Dr. Reiki Hammer, the developer of German New Medicine. This information is available to the public at this website, www.learninggnm.com. There are several different examples of biologic conflicts, and we'll discuss some of those in this webinar. Anger, fear and grief, abandonment, self-devaluation, nurturing and protection, and of course there are many more. But let's discuss them one at a time. Conflicts of anger will affect the digestive system primarily. For example, ugly, indigestible, unforgivable kinds of anger or resentment are the kinds of things that get involved. This can be anger with external situations, not family. Those will impact in the liver, the stomach, the colon, representative of digestive system areas. However, anger with family members, and family members could be one's own self, will affect the pancreas. Conflicts of fear and grief will affect the lungs. Fear or grief of loss, loss of family members, loss of everything one's worked for, wealth, security, protection, a fear of death, a fear of diagnosis and or treatment, such as a fear of the diagnosis of cancer or even the fear of treatment of cancer. The grief that treatment has become necessary will often affect the lungs. In fact, this is a major cause of secondary lung cancers. Having had a diagnosis in some part of the body, often lung tumors show up next. And the reason for that is not so much because the cancer travels in the bloodstream and sets up housekeeping in the lungs, but because the individual has a fear of the diagnosis, a fear of the treatment, or a grief that he's about to lose something very important. This is what is the driving force behind secondary lung cancers. Abandonment, rejection, and denial all belong in the same category. Why have I been left all alone out here? Feeling of not being supported. Business relationships, family relationships, many others. I don't belong, or I feel rejected. An unfulfilled want and need to be cared for when unable to care for oneself. Interestingly, infants can have this experience. We said about reticular activating system and that it's one of the earliest parts of the nervous system to develop. An infant can become aware that he may be unwanted or the parents will be unable to care for him even before they're born. Another example at the other extreme of life is elderly. There is certainly a want and a need to be cared for, and sometimes that goes unfulfilled. Conflicts of self-devaluation can also mean self-judgment. I don't feel good about me because, and then just fill in the blank. Self-devaluation comes in 3 sizes. Light and superficial feelings will affect the lymphatic system, lymph nodes. Medium, a little deeper self-devaluation affects deeper parts of the body, muscle and connective tissue. But the deep down and dirty, really ugly self-devaluation affects bones and bone products and blood formation, such as many forms of leukemia. Conflicts of nurturing and protection are very important, and protection means different things to men and to women. Let's start with men. For example, develop prostate cancers as we age. Well, this relates to a feeling of I can't continue to do what I used to do as a man, which is to protect and provide for my family, my home, my property, my responsibilities. And in this case, being left or right-handed is not important. On the other hand, when we talk about women, and the example here is in the breast, mammary glands, laterality, which means left or right-handed, plays a very important role. A right-handed woman that has a relationship conflict will impact on the right breast, relationship being spouse or business or some kind of a partnership conflict. But a right-handed woman that has a mother-child and nurturing conflict will impact on the left breast. Interestingly, a left-handed woman is just the other way around. So nature has actually hardwired left-handed and right-handed people differently. Biological conflicts are the same for all people and, interestingly, for all species. No matter what the cultural background or the language, people everywhere experience their emotions in the similar ways. Therefore, the biologic conflicts are the same for all people. The same organs are affected by similar biologic conflicts for all people. And that is what allows the predictability. The location of the tumor tells the story. That is how, by knowing the site of the tumor or the name of the diagnosis of a cancer, we already know the biologic conflict and can describe its type with amazingly consistent accuracy. Nature knows. A good diet, clean living, and a balanced lifestyle are always important for a good, healthy life, and they do not protect us from the experience of biological conflicts. Nature knows that we will always need a way to deal with how to handle the biologic conflicts, and nature has provided the means to do that. So the first step toward healing, and this is something you can begin to do today, is to open the dungeon doors and let out the beasts that have been hiding in there in darkness for such a long time, and begin to replace that darkness and heartache and sorrow with feelings of light and love and forgiveness. Thank you for your attention. To proceed to the next slideshow in this series, exit this slideshow and click on the next topic of your choice. This is Dr. Charlie Schwengel speaking for the Hope for Cancer Foundation.